Good morning, all of you. Here is Dr. Apeksha from SLE department, and in this lecture, we are going to deal about communication. So, in this lecture, we are going to cover the topics related to communication, that is the definition part, then types of communication, verbal communication, non-verbal communication, features of verbal and non-verbal communication, types of non-verbal communication, differences between verbal and non-verbal communication. And here are some learning objectives, that is to identify various aspects of communication, identify the features of communication, to use the correct form of communication for varying purposes, and to create examples for different types of communication. So starting with the introductory part, we'll start by the definition part. Communication is derived from a Latin word communis, which means to share. It can be sharing of ideas, concepts, feelings, and emotions. Communication is a two-way process, sender to receiver, that is message is sent, and receiver to sender, that is this process is called feedback. In general, communication refers to the reciprocal exchange of information, ideas, facts, opinions, beliefs, feelings, and attitudes through verbal or non-verbal means between two people or within a group of people. The act or process of using words, sounds, signs, or behaviors to express or exchange information, or to express your ideas, thoughts, feelings, and so on to someone else. From the Latin word communicare, means to share, it is the meaningful exchange of information between two or more living creatures. Communication is the process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols and signs of behavior, according to Webster Dictionary. Communication is interchange of thoughts, opinions, or information by speech, writings, or signals. It is according to Robert Anderson, and according to Leland Brown, communication is the transmission and exchange of facts, ideas, feelings, or course of action. And according to the next scholar, that is Edgar Dale, communication is sharing of ideas and feelings in a mood of mutuality. All these points in detail. Now, starting with the verbal communication, this communication in which is the communication in which message is transferred through usage of words. Verbal communication is done by word of mouth or by piece of writing. It, it is the Latin adjective of word. So, verbal communication means communicating with words, whether written or spoken. Verbal communication consists of speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Hence, we see that in verbal communication, words account for only 7% tone, and voice modulation is about 38%. The total volume is about 45%, and 55% through balancing is done by non-verbal communication, which includes your all over body language, breathing, and your movement. Now, coming to the types of verbal communication, there are two types of verbal communication, that is oral communication and written communication. In oral communication, spoken words are used, which includes face-to-face conversation, speeches, telephonic conversation, radio, television, etc. Advantages of verbal communication. This communication is speedy. In face-to-face conversation, we can actually read the facial expression of our partner to whom we are talking. More personal, it is more personal and informal. It makes immediate impact. It provides opportunity for interaction and feedback. It is very fast and non-expensive. It also helps us to foster better relationships with your co-workers and your friends. It is used to inform, inquire, argue, and discuss topics of all kinds. Now, talking about the disadvantages of verbal communication, in face-to-face conversation, you are unable to think deeply. A word once uttered can't be taken aback. It cannot be forgotten easily. There is no legal evidence of oral communication. So next, talking about the types of oral communication, one of the most important type of oral communication is face-to-face communication. In oral communication, it is the best when it is face-to-face. There is immediate feedback which makes clarification possible, like voice, tone, expression, eye contact, and movements add significance to the words. Telephonic conversation is also one kind of oral communication. Like clarity of speech and skillful use of voice are important. Names and addresses communicated on the telephone are sometimes wrongly received. Telephonic skills and manners are necessary. Next type of oral communication is presentation. A presentation is always followed by questions from the audience. The general tone of a presentation is serious and businesslike. Visual aids are also used to support the oral communication. The success of the presentation depends on the environment and the arrangements in the room. Next important type of oral communication is public speech. A public speech is given to a large audience through microphone. It has a face-to-face setting, but the distance between the speaker and the audience is great. The purpose of a public speech may be to entertain, to encourage, and to inspire. Also, another important kind of oral communication is interview negotiation and group discussion meeting. Next, we'll talk about the written communication. In nonverbal communication has an instant effect because of quicker grasp of by the receiver. It is the best method to convey information to illiterate people as nonverbal communication can overcome the barrier of language. Next, talking about the written communication, this communication includes written words, memos, letters, charts, etc. This communication is most common form of business communication, and this written communication is less speedy as compared to oral communication. Next, talking about the features of nonverbal communication, it includes all unspoken messages, both intentional and unintentional, such as gestures, postures, body language, etc. Nonverbal communication flows through all acts of speaking or writing. They are wordless messages. It is a creative activity which comes through stimuli produced by the mind. Communicating without using any spoken or written word. It is a kind of, you can say, wordless message. It takes place in the form of gestures, facial expressions, eye contact, and touching. It also includes pitch, speed, tone, and volume of voice, dress, and appearance, etc. Next, we'll talk about the advantages of nonverbal communication. It helps to communicate with someone who is hard of hearing or deaf. It helps to communicate in silent zones. It helps us to communicate with a distant person. It also helps us to communicate people who don't understand our language, or you can say who are culturally determined. It captures feelings and emotions both. Now, the talking about the differences between verbal and non-verbal types of communication, the basic difference between them is that we use our voice in verbal communication and we use body signs in non-verbal communication. Next, advantages and disadvantages of verbal communication. Talking about the advantages of verbal communication, it is more personal and informal. It makes immediate impact. It provides opportunity for interaction and feedback. It also helps us to correct our message according to the feedback and non-verbal clues from the listener. It is very fast and non-expensive. Next, talking about the demerits of verbal communication, a word once uttered cannot be taken back. Impact may be short-lived. It cannot be forgotten easily. There is no legal evidence of oral communication, and it cannot be used as a public tool of communication. It cannot create an impression upon people or listeners. Misperception of body language or gestures. Next, this is very important, students. The types of non-verbal communication. The first, there are various types which comes under non-verbal communication. The basic among them are body language, paralanguage, sign language, postures and gestures, and attire. Next, in body language, also there are certain elements which forms body language. Those are appearance, facial expressions, smile, eye contact, voice, energy, space, and time. And certain elements which are included in sign language are signs, symbols, and signals. And we'll discuss all these elements in detail. Next, starting with the paralanguage. Paralanguage is the non-verbal aspect of the spoken words. The nonverbal elements of communication used to convey an emotion, attitude, and an altered meaning are referred to as paralanguage. Its elements include tone, volume, pitch, speed, pronunciation, and intonation. Tone is the quality of the voice. Volume is the loudness or softness. Pitch is the high or low note on the scale. A high-pitched voice is often unpleasant. Speed is factor of speech. Rapid speech indicates excitement. Pronunciation means the accepted standard of the way in which a word is said. Correct and clear pronunciation is important. Accent is the way a person pronounces the sound of the language, and every language has its own accent. We carry our mother tongue accent to other languages we learn. Intonation is the sound pattern of sentences. See, this is very important. Silences can be a very effective way of communication. Silences is a difficult method of communication to use as it takes a good deal of self-control. Short pauses are used to emphasize a point. Thus, paralanguage involves sounds like hushing, whistling, and hissing, and speech alterations like voice quality, rate of speech, hesitations, etc. Next, we'll start with the sign language. A sign is a mark traced on the surface or an object with a view to indicate a particular meaning. A sign may give out an information, instruction, or warning. It may also be a gesture, a movement, or a sound to convey something specific. For example, priests and elders convey their blessings by placing their hands on the head of the people by bowing to them. This is a sign of blessings. Another example, finger on the lips often suggests to keep silent. Such signs are sometimes specific and are accepted as a matter of convention. A sign may also relate to a written mark conventionally used to convey a specific meaning. Such signs may be general, as in case of road and traffic signs, or subject-specific signs specific to the subjects like mathematics or algebra, etc. Next, talking about signals. A signal is a sound or a movement that people makes to give others information, instruction, or warning. A signal is also understood as an indication that something exists or something is about to happen. For example, signal to the waiter for a bill, signal to turn right. Signs and signals are often used with very similar meanings. However, there is a difference. A sign is something that we find or see, whereas a signal is generally used for something that is done intentionally and suggests that some action be taken in response. Signs and signals may be explicit or in code language. Awareness and understanding of signs and signals makes communication more meaningful. Next, we'll start with the symbols. A symbol refers to a manner of representation of ideas. Symbols often use the power of association to convey a specific meaning. In modern day business, the use of a logo is also very common. A logo is a printed design or symbol that a company or organization uses as its specific sign. Here are some examples of the use of symbols. So, for example, white. White is the symbol of purity. Lion is the symbol of strength. ISI mark is the symbol of purity or quality. Hence, use of symbols at the right place enhances the effectiveness of the communication. Next, we'll talk about postures and its types. Posture is the way we hold ourselves, the way we stand or we sit. It indicates something about our feelings and thoughts, attitudes and health. Posture refers to the carriage, state, attitude of body or mind. A stiff posture shows tension. Comfortably leaning back conveys a relaxed mood. Posture can indicate disregard or disrespect for others. Graceful posture is a great asset in any business scenario. Now, we'll talk about the four types of posture which can be easily identified. Forward lean indicates that it indicates attentiveness or interest. Suppose you're sitting like leaning forward. Okay, drawing back or turning away expresses negative or refusal. Expansion suggests proud, conceited, and arrogant. Suppose you are sitting in an expansion posture. Forward leaning back means if you are leaning your body backward, bowed head, drooping shoulders, and sunken chest usually conveys depressed or downcast. And posture also expresses your attitudes, feelings, and moods more clearly apart from your words. Next, we'll talk about gestures. Gestures are the movements of hands, head, body. They are a natural accompaniment of speech. Gesture refers to any significant movement of limb or body and a deliberate use of such movement as an expression of feelings. Gestures can also be understood a step calculated to evoke response from another person or to convey intention. People read and interpret gestures, therefore, these are extremely important in organizational context. A person who does not make any movement while speaking appears somewhat stiff and mechanical. Next is attire. Attire or dress is another important aspect of nonverbal communication. The way a person dresses is often subjected to much interpretation. Attire proclaims a person. Appropriateness for the occasion is essential. The formality of the occasion, the time of the day, the season, the cultural background of the people who will be present, and the conventions of your own organization should provide good guidance. Formal, informal, or casual dressing conveys different meaning. Important and ceremonial occasions normally call for a formal dress. Organizations mostly have their dress codes. Now we'll talk about the certain essentials of oral communication. This slide is also very important, students. That is to consider the objective. Think about the interest level of the receiver. Be sincere, most important. Use simple language and familiar words. This is also very important. Be brief and precise. Avoid vagueness. Give facts. Use polite words and tone. Say something interesting and pleasing. Allow time to respond. So, hence to conclude, verbal communication is a form of communication in which you use words to interchange the information with other people. But non-verbal communication does not use words for communicating anything, but some other modes are used. Next, here I've written some practice questions. That what do you mean by the process of communication? Elucidate various aspects of communication. Explain the differences between verbal and non-verbal communication. This is very important, students. Analyze various aspects of body language necessary for communication. Body language forms a very important aspect of communication. Hence, this question is also very important. Explain the difference between attire and posture. Here I've given the references. You can just go through it. Thank you.